Hey, what's up YouTube? Redbird here, back with a complete Haunted Harvest guide for Throne of Liberty. Everything that you need to know about the event we'll have in the video. Let's get right in here. So basically, the event is centered in the three major villages or cities in the game: Stoneguard Castle, Vienta Village, and Castleton. Each of these have a vendor called the Dimension Pumpkin Exchange Merchant. This merchant will exchange the main currency of the event called Dimension Pumpkin into a ton of useful items or cosmetic items. So the Pumpkin Lord headpiece is a cosmetic item you can get for 20 pumpkins. This can be used in your mirror boutique once you get it, so you can transmorph that, so to say, or transmog, etc. The Jack-o'-lantern Izzy is a new Amatwa type, you see right there in the corner. This supposedly unlocks a new type of Amatwa expedition, which is pretty cool, that you can run during the event. So again, really cool, useful item that you can use there. The Hollow Knight and the Punky Pumpkin, these are just morphs. They're cosmetic morphs, but these cosmetic morphs will allow you to trick or treat during the day, which is a unique thing about the event. Trick or treating is as well. We're going to cover that here in a second. The rest of the way in the merchant is basically trade unlocked stones, trade extraction stones, enchanted ink, and quality sterilite. Obviously, these three items are pretty useful during the event. But trait unlock stones are super valuable in the game, so make sure you're picking those up every week, and then kind of piece together your different cosmetics and Amatwa morphs. And then obviously, if you have leftover pumpkins, you can spend them on the rest of this stuff as well. So real quick, before we get into the other merchant, which is like a traveling merchant, let's look at the trick-or-treating real quick. Now, trick-or-treating in the game will allow you to talk to suspicious residents. These suspicious residents will basically grant you a buff that is not useful at all. It'll be some candy themed buff. But when you speak to both a suspicious resident, a spooked resident, which we're doing right here, and a spooky resident, then you will get a actual buff in the game that lasts for 30 minutes that increases your XP and Solent gain by 10%. So you speak to the spooky, we have these useless candy buffs, and then as you see here, we get Phantom's Prank, which will increase your 10% XP gain and 10% Solent bonus. This is important because it also stacks with the food. So if you have food that increases XP and Solent gain, this gives you an extra 10% on top of that. Pretty cool little buff for the event. You can do this during the day, like I said, but you will need one of the morphs from the event vendor. So if you will notice that there'll be like one suspicious, one spooky, and one spooked roaming around during the day, it'll say that you can't talk to this merchant in your current form. You'll need to use one of the morphs from the Pumpkin Exchange Merchant. Okay, so let's look at the second merchant here. This merchant wanders all over Vienta Village, and I'll show some footage of him. I find him almost every time wandering around the village. So once a day, you'll need to check onto this vendor. This vendor will give you both, or allow you to buy both candy corn, which is another event currency, and more pumpkins. So make sure that you're checking that vendor every day. Again, if you kind of hang out in Vienta Village, he will come through here quite a bit. He's pretty easy to find, so make sure to check him out there as well. He is extremely important to locate every day to make sure you buy your daily cooldowns of pumpkin and candy corn. Okay, so now that we've talked about the trick-or-treating, talked about the two vendors, and all the things that you can get from the vendors, let's take a look at the dungeon of the event. This is the Haunted Labyrinth. It's basically just a co-op dungeon that is exclusive to the event. It will require you to have candy corn, at least one, to pull the chest. From that chest, you'll get more of the pumpkin currency. You'll also have the Pumpkin Lord headpiece, Amatwa, and the two morphs that you find in the store that we spoke about earlier. So you have a chance to get these to drop as well here, so you don't have to spend your pumpkins on them. They'll also come with more progression stuff, such as Abundance Bundle, which will give you growth stones, etc. Solent, ornate coins, some unique foods to the event, which are actually really powerful. Here's a mastery bonus and abyssal contract efficiency food. That's super huge. Or you can get choco spider cookies, which will increase all your crit chance and your crit damage, which is huge, for 15 minutes. You can also craft these during the event as well. Unfortunately, they take like some pretty expensive materials, such as your dimension pumpkins, to craft. So maybe not worth it to craft them until you get all the things from the store that you want. But overall, these foods are very, very powerful. So, you know, hopefully you can get some of those as you run the dungeons. Again, you will need a candy corn to get any loot from this dungeon, to make sure you're finding the vendor every day, and make sure that you're using your check-in, your daily check-in, which is now replaced with all candy corn there. So that's about it, guys. That's everything you need to know the event. I will add on, there's also some rewards for fishing, which you can find all that and more over in our guide over at studioloot.com. I will link that guide in the description. The Haunted Harvest guide basically includes everything you need to know about the Haunted Harvest event, including a complete walkthrough of the Haunted Labyrinth, the event dungeon. So make sure you check that out. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys found this useful. Let me know in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.